Hi everybody, and I'm glad that we are live. So the Voice of a Queen is live, and a lot of people actually are wondering what it's about and what's the idea behind the Voice of a Queen. The truth is, I'm gonna let you decide what it means or what the idea is for you. So you get to decide what that is. But today we're going to be talking about self-leadership. So how do you lead yourself? Because the challenge with low self-esteem primarily starts with self-leadership. So what is self-leadership? When we talk about self-leadership, we mean the ability or the when you can lead yourself, when you have been able to discover yourself and you've been able to decide what you want to do, who you want to be, where you want to go, and when you make decisions, you take responsibility and ownership for all of those decisions. So when you do something, you don't blame it on the person who was involved in the process, or you don't blame the system or what went wrong to make things turn out the way they went. You take responsibility, you take ownership, and then you deal with it. So when you decide to do something and then there is a feedback or an outcome, whether it's good or it's not good, you take responsibility and then you handle it and deal with it. So today's on the Voice of a Queen is on self-leadership. So how do you start to lead yourself? How do you get to a point where you are in charge of your own life? So self-leadership starts by a simple decision. So you decide that this is what I want to do, and then you get to do it. The truth is, it does not necessarily have to start from something big, something great, something amazing. It starts from deciding on what your favorite color is, just because it's your decision. And then you take ownership for it. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone for liking that color. So start with the little things, the minute things that look insignificant and irrelevant. So make the decision to lead yourself. What do you want to be? What would you like to do? Where would you like to be in 5 years, in 1 year? What do you want to do tomorrow? What do you want to be by the end of June 2018? What would you want to be by the end of December 2018? What would you like to look at yourself and be proud of yourself for? It starts with a decision. So decide, this is what I want to do. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to be. When you make that decision, take responsibility for the decision. So take ownership of the process involved in carrying out that decision. For instance, someone who decides they want to go to school in Nigeria, you have to apply to write JAMB and read, pass, and then go into the university of your choice. So the first thing you need to do is decide you want to go into university. And then you take responsibility by registering for JAMB. And then you take responsibility and ownership, and discipline is the next thing I was going to talk about. So, and discipline yourself enough to read and study and then get that admission and go into university. So self-leadership starts from making the decision, taking responsibility, and then be disciplined enough to carry out your decision. Everybody who has achieved something great had distractions. Distraction did not and will not start from you. You will not be the first person to experience distraction. So if everybody who has achieved something great, who has achieved something wonderful, survived through the process of decision making, responsibility taking, and discipline, then you too can achieve that. And then in the process of discipline and being responsible, a lot of things can happen, and that could hit you hard and make you feel discouraged and make you feel like you cannot take this anymore, and then you just want to quit. Everybody has gone through the nighttime, and the process of life of our regular 24 hours is daytime and nighttime. But we just know that there's going to be tomorrow, and so we take our bath at night and then go to bed, and we set our alarm in anticipation of the morning. So that is exactly how you should respond to challenges and issues when you're going through your process of self-leadership. You encourage yourself and set an alarm for when you want to come back. So you tried today, it did not work, and then you feel really discouraged. No problem, it's okay. We're all humans. We have a heart for a reason. Those hearts can be broken. It's allowed to be in a position where you really feel like killing yourself and feel like ending it and not wanting to go back and start again. But hey, encourage yourself and set an alarm. That's what we do every evening before we go to bed. We set an alarm for the exact time we want to wake up the next day. So encourage yourself, set the alarm, and get up. And then in the process of going through a hard time, you lose confidence in yourself. So the next point I would like to talk about is trust in yourself. So you already know your strength. Nobody knows you as much as you know yourself. Your best friend, your parents, the only person that knows you much more than you could ever know yourself is God, because He designed you and He fashioned you. He knows all of your abilities and everything you're still trying to discover about yourself today. So the truth is, you have to discover yourself so that you can trust yourself. It's like skydiving, for instance. At least I've skydived, and I know all of the impressions and feelings and fears that can actually go on in the process of going through skydiving. So, but you just have to believe that this is what you want to do and get up and keep going. So discover yourself, take yourself on a discovery journey, and then get to a point where you trust yourself enough to know that this is something I can handle. I can bounce back up, I can get back up, and I can do this. And the next thing I would like to talk about is taking up the limits. All of the points I'm making tonight are actually progressive, and I would really like for you to listen and try to put them into implementation in your process of self-leadership. So take off the limits. There really is nothing that you cannot do. When God speaks in His Word and He talks about the things He can do and the things He's able to do and things He can achieve, actually, He is actually referring to you. So if there really is nothing impossible to God, there is nothing impossible to you. There is absolutely nothing you cannot do. All it takes is for you to believe and get up and get going. When you fall, get up and get going. That's the idea. And then, most of us have come to a point where we have told ourselves that we're up against the world. We're up against our friends. We have put up competitions by ourselves. We've put ourselves in tournaments, and we've decided that this person is my competition. So when the person is talking, you feel angry, you feel jealous, dude, you are not in a competition with anybody. You are not up against the world. You are not up against a friend. You are not up against a loved one or someone you truly envy. There is no haters per se. You are up against yourself because you are the competition. The minute you can hit a goal you set for yourself, you've just survived one competition that you're in against yourself. So keep setting the goals and keep hitting it. You are the person that is in competition with yourself. Then the next thing I'd like to talk about is the voices in our head. In the process of self-leadership, the victory is won in our heads. And when we go through a point where we are passing through a hard time or going through a difficult time, we have the range of down, there are those voices that just comes up and they are talking to you, and
Hello.
you don't know how to survive, not necessarily because the challenge is great or because the problem is massive, but just because there's this battle going on in your head, and you have not fully gotten your pep talk together in your head. This is the process. When I go through a hard time and it's terrible and it's hard, the truth is I give myself a pep talk. So I go through the process of telling myself in my head, you can do this, you can make it, this is working, this can come out nice, and you are better than this, you are strong, you are good, you can do this, you already came this far, you cannot go back, like you are already here. And that's the problem. Most of us do not know how to shut the negative voice in our head. We do not know how to put it to a halt. We let it keep going. Those negative voices, they keep talking and you are not good, you not even try. You are just finished, as in you are done for. You cannot do this. Nothing ever works for you. Can't you see? You are still applying again for that job. It's not going to work. You need to learn the process of cutting it off. When those negative voices starts coming up and all of those negative, bring yourself to yourself and give yourself a pep talk. I can do this. I am good. I am strong. I have the ability to do this. I have the ability to do this. And that's the only way we can stand out and be unique. The minute you can win the war and the battle in your mind, the minute you can be a champion, a big, mighty champion in your mind, a strong, undefeated, undefeatable person in your head, there is nothing you will not be able to accomplish out there. So even when people are talking and people are speaking negativity and people are talking to you and people have their own opinion, and fine, like my mother will always say, opinions are cheap. The poorest man can afford millions of opinions about you. Let them have their opinion. It's their opinion. But what is your opinion in your head of you? So that's what you should listen to. Escalate and reiterate the great voices in your head and shut down every negative voice that puts you down in your head. That's the only way you can stand out. And then one more thing I like to say, catch the moments as they come. So whenever you have an opportunity to do something fun or something exciting for yourself, go ahead. Do it and catch the moments as quickly as you can. The truth is, these days, the years and days go by so fast, you do not even believe. I mean, we just shouted Happy New Year a few days back, and it's already 25th of February 2018. Before you blink, it's December 2018. So catch the moment as much as you can. Also, most of us do not allow ourselves to diversify. You know, we just tell ourselves, oh, I can sing. I can only sing slow songs. Nobody puts a restriction on your voice. So let yourself diversify. Allow yourself diversify. If you're in a particular career path, no problem, build it to the peak. But make inquiries about other kind of career and talk to people in other disciplines. Make friends with people in, that is what the point of networking is about. Find someone who is in a totally different, opposite career as yourself. Make friends with them, discuss with them, find out the trends in that industry. Allow yourself to diversify. You never know what forum you're going to be in the nearest future. So in the process of self-leadership, allow yourself to diversify. And then there's one more thing I'm going to talk about, is impress yourself. You remember when I started talking, I said, make the decision. Once you make the decision, hit it. Push yourself until you hit the mark of the goals that you set. When you have hit the mark, give yourself a pat on the back. I just sang this song and I did it well. I am impressed with myself. Even if you don't want to blow your trumpet in the presence of everybody, which of course I support, you can look yourself in the mirror, find the personal mirror, and tell yourself you did it. You did it. You sang this song. It was good. It was good. You were amazing. You were just, did you hear your voice today? Oh my God, you were a star. Impress yourself. And when you are admiring yourself and appreciating yourself in the mirror, feel it. You know, feel that energy. You will need that excitement and energy when next you're setting the next target and the next goal. When next you have another plan or another decision you need to make and hit. You will remember the time you set the old one, hit it, and the excitement you felt at the end of it. So when you set a new one, it's easier for you to go ahead. You just have the fire. People will not understand what is gingering you and what is keeping you, what is carrying you. But you do know that you have a well to draw from because you have a history, like you have something you've accomplished that you can actually look back on. You allowed yourself feel the victory. You allowed yourself feel the excitement after the victory. So impress yourself. When you impress yourself, feel the excitement of impressing yourself. You will need it to drive you in the next set of things you need to achieve. Then, one final thing that is quite difficult for a lot of people to do is anger. Choose when to be angry, what to be angry at, not who to be angry at. So, the minute you can work on yourself to the point where you can arrange your anger to not be directed at a person, but at a thing and at an activity, you have perfected self-leadership. That is amazing. So if you can get to a point where you can deliberately decide that you will be angry at a thing and not the person, you have come to a point of self-leadership that is totally amazing and not easy for a lot of people to achieve, because the minute you are angry at a person, that's when you have grudges, that's when you have hatred, that's when you want to revenge, that's when you want to, you know, deal with the person and make the person feel your anger, and then you want to pour it out and let the person know that you are angry. But if you can decide that it is the thing that the person did that is the issue, and you're angry at the thing, you can easily relate with the person without necessarily going through the whole negative vibes and the whole pressure and the whole hatred. You save yourself that stress, and you save the person that whole drama, and you save both of you space and time, because that space and that time that you would be malicious, not talking to the person, you would have saved yourself that space and time, because you're not angry at the person, you're angry at the thing. So it's easy for you to correct the thing and maintain friendship than to destroy friendship while not necessarily correcting anything or changing anything. So, and I am glad that everyone who could join the live video could join and participate, and I hope that you learned something new and you got something new, and I thank you so much for joining. We will have the next one on the last Sunday of the month of March. And just one assignment, a lot of people wrote to me in the course of putting up the publication for the live video, and they said that that they would like to know how to discover purpose. I like to put it like this. The thing is, you know, when organizations and companies want to come up with new ideas, what they do is most successful organizations, they gather a set of people, put them in a room and get them to come up with all scraps of ideas, and they just write, there's paper everywhere. At times those people didn't come out for like a week. They brainstorm and come up with things and think, and then they start streamlining and streamlining and streamlining until they hit the mark of the solution and organization of the system. This is what it's easier to do, to tell people. This is what I think you can do to help find your purpose. Get a book, write things that you like, the things that you don't like, the things that you admire, the things that you don't admire, your strengths, your weakness, and write everything, and then start prioritizing. Take your time, because this is your life and it's your purpose. There's no need to rush and hurry about it. Take your time and put it together, the things you're passionate about, the things you're not passionate about, the things you cannot stand, the things you feel like you cannot live without. Then go through the list and start downsizing, and come to the point where you know that this is what is essential for you. So if maybe you like to talk, what do you like to talk about? What do you like to talk about to people, about technology, about what do you like to research on? All of those little minute things, because I like to make purpose discovery as simple and human as possible, because that's what God designed purpose for, humanity. So, and simplicity, so that the world is a better place for everyone to live in. So this is the assignment to everyone who asked that question. So I hope you can figure out what this is about, and you have learned something about self-leadership. And I hope that you'll be able to put all of the points that we talked about today into use and be able to lead yourself to the point where when you start declaring things about yourself, it's not because someone told you to say them, it's because it is what you know, it is what you are sure of. So when somebody is saying something that does not look like you or does not sound like what is in your support system, yeah, a lot of people externalize their support system. It's in their friends, it's in their families. That's good. I don't have any problem with that. But what if all of your friends and families are not exactly reachable at the time? that will help you encourage yourself in the Lord on your difficult day, like David did, so that you can have the energy and the audacity and impetus to stand up when it's really hard and all of the drama is going on and it's terrible and difficult. So work on your internal support system. And once again, thank you so much for attending. I thank you to everyone who has sent me a birthday wish, called, texted, commented here, and I am very grateful. I am really honored, and I wish you guys would keep saying all of these wonderful things every day. Thank you for being here. So I'll see you in March, on the last Sunday of March. Have a good Sunday and a great week ahead.